just about 3 o'clock. The briefing that we're going over will be in your inbox any minute now. It's about 99% done, and that's what I'll be showing you right now. We did upgrade and issue some winter storm watches inland and winter weather advisories along the coast, and we're just waiting for that to be sent out, and then we'll attach it to the briefing and send it out. Ryan, one of our coworkers, will probably be emailing that out as we're doing the webinar right now. So this is the briefing on the snow potential. Once I get out of this, I want to show you a few things on our website that you all can use that are very useful for your specific questions. I'll certainly take them at the end of this call, but some of those might be offline, especially if it's in with regards to specific timing for when you get to freezing and things like that. So first things first, our potential for snow has increased a little bit inland, but the amounts really haven't changed too much. We were going a coating to 2 before, now it's a coating to 3. We'll show you that map in a second. Our ground temperatures are very, very warm. Soil temperatures are in the 50s, so it's going to take a little while for the snow to accumulate, especially on roadway surfaces. So initially, the snow, as it starts, temperatures are actually going to be 36, 37 degrees. So it's going to take a while to stick, especially on the roads. So the biggest impact on roads would be secondary roads, overpasses, sidewalks, things that are less well-traveled. We're going to have very strong northerly winds through the duration of this event. So we're already starting to see some elevated water on the southern side of the Pamlico Sound, and we could see some minor flooding, talking about 1 to 2 feet above dry ground down East Carteret County and the adjacent areas to the southern Pamlico. And then rough seas, of course, and some wind, especially across the Outer Banks, but it doesn't look like a major deal. We've raised the impacts to elevated levels for snow and hazardous travel. We'll have more on that here in a moment, and elevated impacts due to coastal flooding. As far as the onset of change to snow, this hasn't changed much. This is when we think snowflakes could start mixing in. I know a lot of you all have questions about it sticking. It won't stick right away because, again, those very, very warm surface temperatures. But we'll start to have some snowflakes mixing in, eventually changing to all snow, roughly between 5 and 8 p.m. in the pink shaded area, 8 to 11 p.m. in the blue shaded area. And the folks that may not see any snow, or it might just be the tail end of the event, not a lot of us. It would be far, far eastern Carteret County and maybe central and southern Outer Banks, so Ocracoke Island, Hatteras Island, those folks. But up across northern Dare, mainland Dare, you will see snow. As far as the snowfall forecast goes, again, this has not changed a lot. You've probably seen a lot of various forecasts out there, and that's why we always caution people to follow official sources. It's not because we always get it right and we're never wrong. It's because we make slow trends up or slow trends down. Rather than posting something from last Thursday, I was already being asked about snowfall forecast. We're not good beyond about 48 hours. So we try to put that forecast out about 48 hours in advance, and then we'll make trends toward what we think is going to happen. So if you've been watching, we're slowly trending upward. I'll show you a map here coming up. There are still some models that don't have hardly any snow and other ones that have a lot more than this. So this is why we're playing the middle ground is the way to go in terms of the most likely scenario. So increased it by an inch or so inland, 2 to 3 inches, Greenville, Kinston, Plymouth. It still looks like the north and western part of our forecast area would have the highest chance for the most snow. As much as a dusting or coating to an inch down in the Crystal Coast, southern Onslow, Morehead City area. And right now, if we don't see any snow, that would be most likely like Hatteras Island and Ocracoke. This is a reasonable worst case scenario. This also hasn't changed much. This is what you should be planning for. This is the 1 in 10 chance. Again, unlikely scenario. The previous graphic was our most likely scenario. This is a reasonable worst case of 4 to 6 inches. The point of this graphic is to allow you to plan for worst case, but also highlight if we're going to be wrong somewhere, it's in that Greenville, New Bern, Plymouth area, the north and western part of the area. It's unlikely that we see super heavy amounts down toward Frisco, Ocracoke, Morehead City. It's more the north and western part of our area. And I'll pop out of the webinar here at the end before I take your questions, and I'll show you on the website how you can utilize a lot of this information in your local office. We're posting these temperature maps. We really listen to your questions. When Norman was calling yesterday from Onslow County or Samuel from Lenore, we listen to what you ask, and then we try to put that information in the briefing. So a lot of folks, schools and EMs are asking about, what about the temperature first thing Friday morning? Most of us are going to be near or below freezing where we expect that snowfall. So we could have some icy spots first thing Friday morning. It would be most likely where we have the higher totals up toward Greenville, Plymouth, and Kinston. But we will be dealing with temperatures below freezing, so anything wet has the potential to be icy first thing Friday morning. As we get through the day Friday, temperatures are actually going to get up to around 40. We're going to cross our fingers and try to melt as much of that snow as possible. We'll probably dry out here on the Crystal Coast and down toward the coast where we don't see a lot of snow, and that'll be good news. Inland, where you see 2-3 inches of snow, whatever is still around on the roads after sunset on Friday will freeze up. So we want to dry that stuff out. It's going to melt on Friday, but anything wet Friday evening, Friday overnight will refreeze. And you can see temperatures inland Friday night in the low to mid 20s. So please, consider that. So really, a couple time periods we're focused in on the snow Thursday evening, ending by daybreak Friday. Friday morning is a trouble spot because of the temperatures near freezing. And then Friday night is another trouble spot, especially where we see a couple inches of snow, and we may still have some, snow melting, wet spots, and things of that nature. So keep that in mind. Wind gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour across most of the area, not a huge deal. The reason why we're showing this is we are going to have some 40 to almost 50 mile per hour gusts across the Outer Banks. We don't have the wind direction on this map, but it's out of the north, and that's going to pile up the water, especially down toward down east Carteret County and the lower part of the Neuse River along the banks of the Neuse River in southern Craven County. Right now it doesn't look like a major flooding event. We're still going 1 to 2 feet above normally dry ground. So that's low-lying areas could see 1 to 2 feet inundation in those areas. So summarize, coating to 3 inches, hazardous travel, again, especially secondary roads, bridges, and overpasses initially, grassy surfaces, and where you see a couple inches of snow start to accumulate on the roads, especially later at night. Before I turn things over to you all, our next briefing is going to be sent out by tomorrow morning. Hope to have it out by 8, probably be out by 6 o'clock. And you all should have an email that gave you the webinar information for tomorrow at 9 a.m. and then tomorrow at 3. I know a lot of you will be making decisions before 3, so that's why we wanted to do the 9 a.m. one in the morning. Real quickly, here's our website. Carl just popped into the room, so it's probably been issued. Yep, Carl, thank you very much. So I'm doing the briefing now, but there's about 8 of us in the office working on the forecast. Carl just issued that winter storm watch. So again, roughly the northern tier of counties. Lower amounts are expected to the south, and that's where we have a winter weather advisory in effect. That will be probably in your email inbox in the next couple minutes. Ryan and other forecasters working on that. The whole point of showing you the website is to really highlight our winter page. If you click on the icon for winter, it'll send you to the page that I'm showing where you can get a snowfall range of what's expected. Here's your reasonable worst case scenario. So if you need to show people, the decision makers in your county, this is for you to use. It also has graphics down to the bottom, percent chance of greater than 1/10 of an inch, 2 inches, 4 inches. One useful thing of these maps is to really highlight those areas we're most concerned with. And it really jumps out. You can see the higher probabilities of 1 and 2 inches up toward Washington and Greenville, right where we have the highest amounts on snowfall. Last thing before I turn it over to you, on our website, you can click anywhere on the map, and if you scroll down, you can get the hourly weather graph. It's very, very useful. So I'm going to click on Carteret County. Actually, I'm going to go up toward Greenville, Pitt County, where you guys can get colder a little bit sooner. It defaults to kind of the whole kitchen sink. It's easier to use on a PC. It works on a phone, but it's easier on a PC. I'm going to uncheck all the stuff I don't care about. Dew point, wind chill. Let's say I don't care about wind. I'm only going to leave when is it going to snow and temperature. I'm going to hit submit again, and that's a much cleaner graph. So DOTs, schools, when you want to know when your temperatures are actually going to fall, this is a perfect graph. And this is for Newport right now. Temperatures around the freezing mark toward daybreak on Friday, and our snow would be after 11 o'clock, and it shows amounts too. So very, very useful tool. You can, of course, call the office and ask us, but this is what we're looking at. So if you want to look at it on your own and have some background before you call, or you just want more confidence, I really, really recommend using the hourly weather graph. This is also useful during the hurricane season. Cross fingers, we don't need to use it, but when you want to know when we're going above certain thresholds for wind speeds, this is an excellent tool for that.